Hello everyone, with Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the Caribbean. It is Saturday evening, February 4th, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Also feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so let us take a look at the significant feature map across the Atlantic for this evening. We can still see that we have that high pressure ridge to the north of the Caribbean and the main development region, sending a lot of easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. To the north of the Caribbean, we can see that we have a cold front right there, stretching all the way from the northern section of the North Atlantic, all the way down into portions of the Bahamas, as well as the western tip of Cuba. And if we actually take a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see that yes, we have all of those low-level clouds being pushed from east to west in that easterly trade winds caused by that high pressure ridge. And we can also see a line of clouds associated with that cold front, stretching all the way down from the northern section of North Atlantic into portions of Florida, the Bahamas, the western tip of Cuba, sections of Mexico, Belize, and Guatemala. We will talk more about that later on. Let's focus our attention on the video that was made yesterday, highlighting the forecast for today's weather. It was stated that we would have received some amount of rainfall across eastern Jamaica in the morning, then spreading to central and western Jamaica during the afternoon, more specifically southern Jamaica. What ended up happening? A post was made on our Twitter page at 9:06 a.m. this morning, highlighting some amount of clouds, bringing some overcast skies and isolated showers to portions of Portland and St. Thomas. So that prediction actually came true. In the afternoon, a post was made at 2:41 p.m. highlighting some clouds bringing overcast skies as well as isolated showers to sections of central and western Jamaica, just as predicted. And if we actually take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, the accumulated rainfall for the past 12 to 18 hours shows that we had some rainfall across the island, so eastern, central and western Jamaica got in on some amount of rainfall today, just as predicted. If we actually take a look at the temperatures right now across the island, we can see that we have 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, and these temperatures should be lowering as the night progresses. If you actually take a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map is showing 18Z on the euro, that's 1 p.m. on Sunday. The GFS is showing the same thing. Look at Jamaica, we see that Jamaica is embedded in some of those gold shadings on both the euro and the GFS. What does that mean? We're going to be receiving at least 1 degree or 2 degrees Celsius above average temperatures. And what are the average temperatures for the month of February? About 86 degrees Fahrenheit. So if we're going to be receiving 2 degrees Celsius above average and 86 degrees Fahrenheit means about 30 degrees Celsius, that means we're in for at least 31 to 32 degrees Celsius temperatures across the island for tomorrow during the daytime. Let's move ahead to the dry air map. We can still see that we have a lot of dry air across the Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico, indicated by those yellows, golds, oranges and reds. We can see that we have some amount of blues that indicate moist air. Where is that? Across portions of northern Venezuela, sections of the ABC Islands, sections of Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, even sections of, let's say, Grenada getting in on some of that moist air as well. If we actually take a look at the Saharan air layer map, we can see that the browns represent the Saharan dust, and majority of that dust is all the way over there by Africa as well as sections of the main development region. Jamaica is in the clear for 2 p.m. on Sunday. As it relates to the wind forecast across the island for tomorrow, we can see that both maps, the Euro and the GFS models, are showing an easterly flow of winds across the island for tomorrow. with the strongest winds across the south coast. So we can get anywhere from 10 to 20 knots, maybe even reaching up to 25 knots in some spots. However, where does all of this air pile up? Where do we have the least amount of winds across the island? Across sections of central and western Jamaica. So if there's a chance of afternoon convection, that is where majority of the clouds will be piling up across sections of inland areas of central and western Jamaica. And although it's not the thunderstorm season right now, if it was, the wind shear would be an important factor, because both the Euro and the GFS models are showing that the wind shear is going to be coming from the northwest tomorrow. With a northwesterly flow of wind shear, if there was to be some afternoon convection, some thunder clouds rising all the way up into the atmosphere, most of those clouds will be blown off by the wind shear, the northwesterly wind shear, off to the southeast. So there might have been a bias, or there would be a bias across portions of southern Jamaica tomorrow, if that is what takes place. So we shall see exactly what unfolds with that. Either way, there's gonna be rainfall. Look at this. The Euro and the GFS are showing some amount of blues that represent rainfall. What time is that? 12 p.m. on Sunday. Let's move ahead in time. The Euro and the GFS are showing some amount of blues. We have consensus across portions of central and western Jamaica. The Euro is a bit more robust, showing more rains, blues that represent rainfall across eastern Jamaica. The GFS, not so much. We can move ahead to 5 p.m. on the Euro. We still see a lot of blues across the island. But where's the consensus? The consensus is across portions of central and western Jamaica on both maps. So either way, there's going to be some amount of rainfall tomorrow. The aggregated precipitation on the Euro model is showing majority of the rainfall across sections of eastern and central Jamaica. As usual, the Euro is more robust than the GFS. The GFS is showing some amount of rainfall, but not as bullish as the Euro. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see some amount of cloud cover across portions of the Leeward Islands, sections of Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, sections of Mexico, Belize, Guatemala associated with that cold front. We can also see some amount of cloud cover across portions of, let's say, Venezuela, as well as Guyana, Suriname, and French Guyana. If we actually take a look at the Doppler radar images before the sun went down, we know that the Doppler radar images show the actual rainfall as opposed to satellite images that show cloud cover. And we can have cloud cover over an area and not necessarily rainfall. So we know that the greens and the yellows represent light to moderate rainfall, and we can see that we have a lot of rainfall on this Doppler radar image that shows all of the images from 2:30 p.m. all the way up to now recording hour. We can see a lot of rainfall across portions of Puerto Rico to the north and south of Puerto Rico, the British and the US Virgin Islands, portions of St. Kitts, St. John's, Guadeloupe, Dominica getting in on some of that rainfall today, even Martinique getting in on some of that rainfall. If we actually take a look at the Barbados Doppler radar images, we can see that we have a lot of rainfall to the north and south of Barbados. So there might be some rainfall in store for islands to the west of Barbados, including, let's say, Grenada might get in on some rainfall tonight, maybe even Tobago, and then spilling into portions of Trinidad as well. If you actually take a look to the northwest right there, we can see some rainfall approaching those areas. What's that? That's Martinique, Dominica, maybe even as far as Guadeloupe as well. If you actually take a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see that yes, the cold front is doing a number on the southern tip of Florida right there. We can see that we have some rainfall across portions of Guatemala, Belize, and Mexico associated with that cold front as well. And if we even scroll down further, we can see that yes, we have some amount of rainfall across portions of Guyana, Suriname, and French Guyana as well. Alright, so let us talk about the temperature forecast for tomorrow across the rest of the Caribbean. So at 1 p.m. tomorrow, we can see that we have slightly above normal temperatures or near average temperatures for the most part across the eastern Caribbean. Below average temperatures are still in store for sections of Central America, as well as the Gulf of Mexico associated with that cold front. If we actually take a look at the Saharan air layer forecast, we can see that there are no browns across the Caribbean, so the Caribbean is still in the clear for 2 p.m. tomorrow. If we actually move forward in time to 2 p.m., just like what we saw on this map. So 2 p.m. on Sunday, the Caribbean will be in the clear as well. Majority of the dust associated with that Saharan air layer, Sahara Desert, is located across Africa as well as the main development region. If we actually take a look at the wind forecast for tomorrow, however, majority of the Caribbean seems to be in for a lot of strong easterly winds tomorrow, up to even 25 to 30 knot wind across the Caribbean, with that high pressure dome sitting right there to the east of the United States. Lots of strong easterly winds coming in tomorrow, so sections of Northern Colombia, the ABC Islands, the Leeward and Windward Islands getting in on a lot of strong winds tomorrow as well. If we actually take a look at the precipitation forecast for tomorrow now, we can see where we're going to be having that rainfall. If the rainfall isn't already falling right now, it's going to be falling throughout the day tomorrow on and off. These maps are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Sunday. So we can see that up to 0.5 of an inch of rainfall is expected on both the Euro and the GFS across portions of the Dominican Republic, eastern Puerto Rico, sections of, let's say, Guadeloupe, Dominica as well, sections of northeastern Trinidad, sections of eastern Venezuela as well. Not so much rainfall as a couple days ago across portions of Nicaragua, but we can see some amount of rainfall across portions of Costa Rica right there. That's where the consensus is. We can also see some amount of rainfall across portions of the ABC Islands as well. If we actually take a look at the western section of the basin, the Euro is showing some amount of rainfall, even up to 1 inch of rainfall, so there might be some amount of isolated flash flooding across portions of Mexico, Belize, section of Guatemala and Mexico right there. And the GFS model is in agreement with that, so be on your P's and Q's and try not to be affected that drastically by the flooding. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.